Welcome back to Today we will learn about the shocking turn of events that has left Salem reeling as Chanel makes an earth-shattering decision that no one saw coming. Chanel's devastating sacrifice for love. In the most heart-wrenching turn of events Salem has witnessed in years, Chanel Dupree Demera has made the ultimate sacrifice for love. As Johnny's murder trial reaches its climax, Chanel has stunned everyone by pleading guilty to the charges against her husband, effectively accepting to go to jail to save the man she loves. This shocking development comes after weeks of mounting pressure and desperation as the evidence seemed to be stacking against Johnny. The courtroom erupted in complete chaos when Chanel stood up during the proceedings and declared her intention to confess to the shooting of E.J. Demera. Her voice trembling with emotion, she told the judge that she couldn't bear to watch Johnny suffer for something she claimed responsibility for. The gallery gasped as security moved to restrain her, while Johnny himself looked absolutely devastated by his wife's unexpected confession. Sources close to the Demera family reveal that Chanel had been planning this dramatic move for several days, confiding only in her mother Paulina about her intentions. She had reportedly told Paulina that if it came down to choosing between her freedom and Johnny's life, there was no contest. She would gladly spend years behind bars if it meant keeping the love of her life out of prison. Paulina's crushing regret and public apology. Perhaps the most surprising twist in this already shocking saga is Paulina Price's complete change of heart regarding Johnny. The Salem mayor, who had been one of Johnny's most vocal accusers, has now publicly expressed deep regret for her harsh treatment of her son-in-law. In a tearful press conference held just hours after Chanel's courtroom confession, Paulina admitted that she had let her protective instincts as a mother cloud her judgment. "I was so focused on protecting my daughter that I failed to see the truth," Paulina said through tears, her voice barely audible. "Johnny Demera is a good man who loves Chanel with all his heart, and I wrongfully accused him of a crime I now believe he didn't commit." The mayor went on to explain that seeing her daughter willing to sacrifice her own freedom had opened her eyes to the depth of love between the young couple. Paulina's public apology has sent shockwaves throughout Salem, particularly among those who had supported her tough stance against the Demera family. Political analysts are already speculating about the potential impact on her mayoral career, with some suggesting that this dramatic reversal could cost her significant political capital. However, those closest to Paulina say that her primary concern right now is supporting both Chanel and Johnny through this impossible situation. Salem's collective shock and disbelief. The news of Chanel's guilty plea has spread like wildfire through Salem, leaving residents struggling to process the implications of her sacrifice. At the Brady pub, longtime residents gathered in hushed conversations, many expressing disbelief that the young woman would throw away her future for her husband's freedom. Roman Brady was overheard telling Kate Roberts that in all his years in Salem, he had never witnessed such a dramatic courtroom confession. Hospital staff at Salem University Hospital reported that several people sought medical attention for shock and anxiety following the news. Dr. Kayla Johnson confirmed that the emergency room had seen an unusual number of visitors complaining of stress-related symptoms, all directly related to the shocking developments in the Demera case. The Salem Police Department has been inundated with calls from concerned citizens, many questioning whether justice is truly being served. Commissioner Rafe Hernandez held a brief press conference assuring the public that the investigation would continue despite Chanel's confession, emphasizing that the department's commitment to uncovering the truth remained unwavering. EJ's explosive meltdown over Johnny's dismissal. The courtroom drama was only the beginning of E.J. Demera's worst nightmare coming true. When Johnny made the devastating decision to fire his father as his legal counsel, E.J.'s carefully controlled facade finally cracked. The dismissal came after E.J.'s controversial decision to bring up the deepfake video of Chanel during the proceedings, directly violating his promise to Johnny that he would keep that damaging evidence out of the courtroom. E.J.'s reaction was nothing short of volcanic. Witnesses described him as completely unhinged, as he realized that his son not only distrusted him, but was also willing to sever their professional relationship at the most critical moment of the trial. The veteran attorney, known for his composure under pressure, was seen shouting in the courthouse hallway that everything he had done was to protect Johnny's future. The The situation deteriorated further when EJ learned that Johnny intended to represent himself for the remainder of the trial. Legal experts immediately expressed concern about this decision, noting that self-representation in a murder trial is extremely risky and could lead to a conviction that a skilled attorney might have prevented. EJ's fears about his son's inexperience in criminal law have consumed him, leading to sleepless nights and erratic behavior that has alarmed even his closest associates. Tony DiMera bears the brunt of EJ's rage. The full extent of EJ's emotional breakdown became apparent when he encountered his brother Tony DiMera at the DiMera mansion later that evening. What started as a conversation about the family's legal troubles quickly escalated into an explosive confrontation that left household staff scrambling for cover. Tony found himself on the receiving end of EJ's pent-up fury and frustration. Eyewitnesses reported that EJ launched into a tirade about losing everything that mattered to him, first his girlfriend, now his relationship with his son. His voice echoing through the mansion's halls, EJ blamed everyone and everything except his own poor choices for the disasters that had befallen him. The confrontation reached its peak when EJ began throwing objects around his study, with Tony attempting to calm his increasingly unstable brother. "You don't understand what it's like to watch your son throw his life away," EJ reportedly screamed at Tony, his face red with rage and tears streaming down his cheeks. Tony's attempts at reasoning fell on deaf ears as EJ continued his emotional outburst, ultimately storming out of the mansion and disappearing into the Salem night. Johnny's desperate plea for Chanel's innocence. Despite facing the fight of his life in court, Johnny's primary concern remains protecting Chanel's reputation and future. Legal observers have noted that instead of focusing on his own defense strategy, Johnny has spent considerable time and energy trying to convince everyone, from the jury to the media, that his wife is completely innocent of any wrongdoing. This misplaced focus has created tension between the couple, with Chanel repeatedly begging Johnny to concentrate on proving his own innocence rather than worrying about her. During several emotional conversations in the courthouse holding area, Chanel was overheard telling Johnny that she could handle whatever legal consequences came her way, but she couldn't bear to watch him go to prison for a crime he didn't commit. Legal analysts have criticized Johnny's approach, suggesting that his emotional investment in clearing Chanel's name could actually hurt his own case. When you're fighting for your life in a murder trial, you need to be completely focused on your own defense, noted criminal defense attorney Jennifer Rose. Johnny's admirable desire to protect his wife could ultimately cost him his freedom. Gabi's unexpected peace offering to Xander. In a surprising subplot that has caught many Salem residents off guard, Gabi Hernandez has extended an olive branch to Xander Kyriakis, apologizing for the dramatic confrontation that took place at the bistro. The apology comes as a shock to those familiar with the contentious history between the two, particularly given their recent business conflicts. Xander's response to Gabi's peace offering has been cautiously positive, especially considering his ongoing work with Dr. Marlena Evans to address his anger management issues. Those close to the Kyriakis heir report that his therapy sessions have helped him develop better coping mechanisms for dealing with conflict, making him more receptive to Gabi's attempt at reconciliation. However, behind the scenes, sources suggest that Gabi's apology may be part of a larger strategic plan involving Tony DiMera. Rumors are circulating that the two are working together on a scheme to undermine the Titan DiMera business merger, with Gabi's newfound friendliness toward Xander potentially serving as a cover for more manipulative intentions. The uncertain road ahead for Salem's families. As this explosive week comes to a close, Salem finds itself grappling with the fallout from these earth-shattering revelations. Chanel's willingness to sacrifice her freedom for Johnny has redefined what love means in this troubled town, while EJ's complete emotional breakdown has left the DiMera family in chaos. The legal implications of Chanel's confession are still being sorted out by prosecutors, with many questioning whether her guilty plea can legally absolve Johnny of the charges against him. Legal experts suggest that the case has become so complex that it may require months of additional investigation and court proceedings to reach a final resolution. Meanwhile, the emotional toll on all involved continues to mount. Johnny faces the impossible choice between accepting his wife's sacrifice and fighting to prove both their innocence, while EJ struggles to repair the relationships he has damaged through his manipulative tactics and explosive temper. As Salem braces for whatever shocking developments lie ahead, one thing remains certain. The events of this week have forever changed the landscape of love, loyalty, and justice in this small but dramatically charged community.